Oh boy, here we go, Schlegs. Off and running. You're on a Friday. Excited. Can't wait. So many great things are happening today, dude. It is a Friday. We have a college football playoff game that is going to be going off less than 8 hours from now with Notre Dame
Wow.
taking on Indiana, which is going to be a heck of a lot of fun. So we got that going for us. I don't know, Schlegs, what is it? Noon. So 24 plus 8. What is that? 32-ish
Yeah,
hours?
32. 32 hours.
32 hours. The Buckeyes will be kicking off and playing. So we got that going. There are going to be games all the way leading up to that. Our guy, AJ Hawk, is going to be on the sideline. The Hawk flies at night. You always knew that. So he's going to be flying there with Pat McAfee on the sideline. I was talking to him this morning on Morning Juice, trying to make sure that he's not going to wear sleeves. I don't think we're going to be able to get him to do that, unfortunately. He didn't really seem keen on the idea, if you will. Buckeyes have all their practices done. We've got a thoughtful Thursday coming from our guy, Tim Walton, which is always going to be a gem. We've got Maurice Clarett going to be joining us in the second and third. We'll see how long we end up going with him and how much time he has as well. So huge day, man. Huge. Does not get any bigger than this. And with that all being said, sir, how was your Thursday? How are we doing feeling on this Friday morning, Friday afternoon?
Well, nothing has deterred my thought of how I feel about the Buckeyes going into this game. I'm excited to watch it, excited to watch the first couple series, excited to see how their interior offensive line looks, excited for all the seniors to get another opportunity in Ohio Stadium, excited for the matchup of Tennessee and the things that they present to the Buckeyes and what they got to do to go potentially on a run. Excited to have Maurice. Just got done training the Columbus Fury. And again, their season's about ready to start up here in January, I believe. And so, hey, guess what? It's a great time. It's at Nationwide Arena. Get out there, watch pro volleyball. And I absolutely love training alpha females. We have a lot of them at the Armory. These women are special. So just got done with that. And then, boom, I'm going to fly down to Texas, take my dad to my old high school state championship game. Matter of fact, both high schools I went to, DeSoto and Highland Park, are in the state finals.
What do they got? 1-5A, 1-4A?
No. They're 6A.
And then
6A and 5A. They bumped up a level since back in the day.
So are we going to the No Limit Soldiers?
Oh my gosh.
Are we going to Scotland Yard? What are we doing here?
I would try to get both. I think they might. I don't know if they play back to back or what. And I also got to pick up the.
Where are they playing? First of all, they play
at Texas Stadium. Yeah, man. And people don't know this, but I was a team captain at DeSoto my junior year, and at pep rallies, I went out there, and No Limit Soldiers was big at that time. And
Master P, make them say
Master P.
Right?
Oh my gosh! And I did. I broke out.
You play that?
They're not. I did. I had it in the background, like it was like no music, like no words, but I was just talking about. It was Duncanville. We were playing Duncanville for homecoming.
Duncanville's good now.
They won state that year. We beat them at homecoming, and I was just, I said in the speech, like, they don't want to go to war with No Limit Soldiers like DeSoto, man. Everybody went crazy. It was amazing.
Oh yeah, you and Tubbsy just doing some sort of little deal together, like.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's great. I mean, so Texas Stadium. Are you taking Hunt? Like your boy's going to go?
No, because they fly in tomorrow in the afternoon. So I'm going to take my dad, and then take Coach Wayne, who was. It's funny, Coach Wayne worked with Marv Levy. I love you, man. Yeah. I'm gonna take my dad, spend a little time with Raj.
It's so amazing.
I can't believe that guy sent that to you. You gotta fill me in on that on some other time. But it's gonna be Coach Wayne. I'm taking Coach Wayne, taking my dad, and just gonna go out there and watch some good high school football, man.
Do you know who
about you?
What do we got? So tonight I'm gonna watch some of this Notre Dame Indiana game. And here's the thing: like, usually I watch a game, I always have I feel like I have a clear interest of who I kind of want to win, who I feel good about. But this one it's kind of weird. I'm not positive, as I sit here and going into that game, like normally I'd be like, hey, Big Ten, Indiana, like they haven't won anything, Schlegs, ever in football, and we used to punk them all the time, and they haven't beat Ohio State since '88, but I'm like, I can't really feel that way. Like Marcus is on the other sideline. I know what this would mean to him. They've got a home game at Notre Dame. Like, I'm really conflicted, man. I am torn. So I'm not really sure how to feel about this. But we're going to go to some dinner. I might go get a friend of mine's got this hyperbaric chamber. I might sit. It's some like crazy nice one too. And I might go sit in that for like 2 hours today to get like enough juice for the weekend to be able to like get the blood cells going, like get fired up to make sure I get enough like warmth because tomorrow I'm gonna wake up, hopefully be battling a hangover, but not too much. I'm gonna do my XM show from 9 to noon. After that, pop on Penn State, watch that, get some things done around the house, whatever we need to do, and then probably 4 o'clock, we're gonna load the bikes up, man. I got my kids. Dude, I gotta load my tickets into the wallet too. Remember to do that, Schlegs.
All right, I'll remind you.
Pick up my credential today as well, but we're gonna take the kids, go down. And I ran into Luke. I was talking to Luke Montgomery today over at the. So is you guys going anywhere like for break? I'm like, yeah, dude, we're going to the game tomorrow. So let's go make it a good one. Buckeyes. Like
Buckeyes.
I'm like, bro, I got kids that they play sports. Like we got friends like, oh, we go ski the week in between Christmas and New Year's. Like, dude, we never had any like vacations like that. We never went on spring break or crap. Like my kids, we got practice. Like, dude, that's no school. You know what that is, Schlegs? More time to lift, eat, and
exactly.
sleep.
100%.
Like, just more training.
I never had vacations. Like I remember the first vacation I went on with my parents. One, I believe, no, matter of fact, my dad was like, yeah, you want to go on vacation and miss a practice? Your choice. So I went to SeaWorld. And guess what? When I came back, I was probably like 12. When I came back.
Is that the one in San Antonio?
Yeah, the one in San Antonio. My dad told
the coach. It's like kind of a vacation, dude. You live in Dallas.
Yeah, but my dad told the coach, but I wasn't even with my parents. I went with a friend, but my dad told the coach not to start me because I missed a practice. And I was like, I'm never missing a practice again. And then when I was in high school, we never went on vacays. So we just made vacay around the wrestling tournament schedule. Yeah. And then we would go visit a college stadium and like sneak in there, but they were more open back then where you could just walk in and look. Couldn't still get on the field, but you can walk in and look. And then we would marry that with a Civil War battlefield and like walk that. That was my vacations.
That is amazing. The Civil War battlefield really brings it all home.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Love that stuff.
I remember we went to New Jersey twice while I was growing up that I remember for like bigger things. And we would stay with our neighbors in their ranch, 3-bedroom ranch, and like sleep in my parents would get one of and they were older, their kids were older. They used to babysit us. And so we'd stay with them, and they're awesome people. They just passed away a couple of years ago in New Jersey. So we drive there. We do that. We went Thanksgiving one year. And in 8th grade, I didn't want to leave my girlfriend and friends, but we went over there for like a weekend. But it was cool because my dad's friend was the trainer. And so like he took us through at the New York still, Ronnie Barnes, awesome guy, still there, like Jake Ballard, all those guys like love Ronnie. And my dad called him up and boom, went through. And like that was cool for an 8th grade, like going down on the field at the Meadowlands. And I still got a picture of me in my Ohio State jacket sitting there ready to rock. And like that was cool. But like that was a vacation. I mean, that was it. We went to Phoenix, Tucson to see my uncle one year on spring break. But like that's all we did. And so yeah, it was just training, it was all this. And so I built our vacation. Like anytime I'm doing travel now, Schlegs, it's all around this. It's all around football and everything that's going on. So people are like, what are you doing? I go, I don't know. I got to see if the Buckeyes win. Like I'm not going to go to the Rose Bowl. But Schlegs, if they win and win too, they're in the Cotton Bowl, like playing Texas. I mean, I feel like you and I might need to go down there for that.
Let's go, man.
That'll be a fun one.
We'll go down there. We'll go to Metroflex. We'll get super bumpy. Absolutely. We'll go around. Like, I mean, it'll be amazing.
It'll be good. So like that would be pretty sweet. So we'll see. I don't know, but that's the vacation stuff we already have. All right, we're gonna get to a quick break here. We got our guy Maurice Clarett right on the other side of this, man. Excited to talk to him about this. Teammate of mine back in 2002. Been around the team each and every week, helping out with the running backs. But first, I want to tell you about Export. Parents and athletes, protect what matters most with Export mouth guards. Trusted by professional athletes, designed by NHL team dentists, The Export mouth guards are scientifically tested to absorb those high impact hits, protecting both your teeth and your brain. Export mouth guards feature 3 layers of advanced protection, including patented use of carbon fiber. They 3D print that bad boy right to your grill, which means more protection, better performance, max comfort, but clear communication as well, so you can focus on your game, not on your gear. Don't take chances with your safety. Visit exportguards.com/Bobby today and save 15%. Export, protect what matters most. Maurice Clarett, Mr. 1-3, coming up next. I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like. I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer. All right, now please welcome in my former teammate, guy we're excited to talk to here, one of the star running backs in Ohio State history, unbelievable freshman season in 2002. Maurice Clarett, one of the biggest heads on any running back you're going to find. That bowling ball.
That's what I was going to say.
Foods all the time. Maurice, how we doing today, sir?
All is well, all is well. Y'all, those are some fabulous ad reads, and I had fun watching the commercials. So I think all this is going to go well.
Marie, the one regret I remember, one of the earliest memories that I have at Ohio State is when I came in, like you were in there, it's like squatting, and then I just started squatting. And I was like, I like this guy, and the one regret I have is I never got to like collide skulls because you have a formal. Because Bob knows this, like skull on skull. Like I would have loved to have had that challenge, and you're so meaty too, man. It's great to have you on the show, and I appreciate everything that you've been doing. And I'm gonna jump right into this because you've been around, and former player, great journey. And I say great because it's all about the journey. And you even articulate it in this narrative that you had, and I'm going to read it. It's every story takes a journey of its own, where the easy roads don't test you. It's the adversity, the pain, the struggles that turn fear into fire. And really, that's kind of embodies you a little bit. But talk a little bit about that and what you see about that in this team when you watch them at practice.
Well, man, I can start. Man, I can start probably from when I first got there, and you all know as well as I know the narrative or the expectation was, you're supposed to go out here and win everything and beat everybody, and everything is just supposed to be well. And just throughout the journey, you see that these guys were well prepared, and then they go up to Oregon and you drop one, right? And you could say a couple plays here or there, things could have went out of the way. You could talk about penalties, you could talk about some things that we could have done, but it didn't happen, right? And so then you gather yourself and you go on through the rest of the season, and the next build up or the next big test is supposed to be just what was it, Penn State, then Indiana, and we go and we beat Penn State on the road, and then you beat Indiana, which are two top five teams, and then you have our arch nemesis at the end of the season, and you drop that, right? And so there's so much commotion and so much going on in the media space, and after being down there and seeing these guys and seeing them practice, and you start to realize that a lot of the narratives that have been placed on them, me contributing it to a last year, just sort of getting in the trolling space, you start to realize that they're false. You start to realize that these guys are well prepared and these guys are well coached, and there's a seriousness to these guys, and sometimes that. you get these things in the ecosystem, and you start to realize that these narratives are the adverse thing that comes from your fan base. Me being one of those people at some point, and just all in the atmosphere. You start to realize that you have to put this stuff behind you, man, and look at what's next, and make sure that all focus, all energy, and all your darts are focused on Tennessee. Because if you get caught looking in the rear view and allowing those moments to basically consume you, you cannot be prepared for who's about to step into your stadium, and you can basically lose big twice. And so I didn't actually write that. The gentleman who produces all of the film at Ohio State, he wrote it, but I think he wrote it in comparison to my life, and also being the 13th volume of film, he used that. And with me being around the program, he just kind of used it to market the game this week.
So, Reese, obviously, Schleggs, you talk about the journey and everything, that goes on. I've always been a big believer, like adversity, struggles. I mean, they shape you as a human. Like who you become along that journey matters a lot. And you look at like our O2 season, the journey of that, the journey of life, and the journey of this like senior class, these guys that came back and what they came back for, and trying to balance, not being able to ever win a Big Ten championship, not beating Michigan, but then still having an opportunity, which is something that is new this year. Like this
Yeah.
probably never would have been the case. Balancing that to kind of take all of that heartache and pain and everything that happened, and then transition that, being able to go and say, hey, let's go try to win the ultimate prize here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. And in life, I'm the perfect example. Sometimes things don't work out the way you want them to, right? And, they haven't been able to win a Big Ten championship, and they haven't been able to beat Michigan. But I hate to say it like this, but so what, right? And it is what it is. And you've tried your best, and you went out there on the field, and it just didn't go the way that you intended to. But all is not lost. And I think that's the story of my life. It's the story of this season. You can still pick yourself up, but it just depends on where you're focused at during your adverse moment. And I think that's just the conversation we're having right here. And and the faster you can get to that place of moving forward, even though there was like significant things you missed, like Bobby, I've missed all of the years with you, Slagle and Santonio and Troy and Tailgate, and we can go on and talk about all these fabulous things that you missed, right? But when I decided to turn my life around, like I've built a better life. And I have so many amazing things going on. But when I stayed in that state of misery, in a state of what didn't happen, and I constantly spoke that and I constantly perpetuated that, my life sort of went into the dumps. And so these guys have to, like, sometimes you live with regret. You wish that you did more. You wish that you threw the ball better. You wish that you made a field goal. You wish that you did things to perform or get to a different outcome. But sometimes things just happen. And I know there'll be young guys that hear this who watch your show on the team, and they'll be in a hotel, and I can only hope that they listen to this stuff, and they actually get it, and realize that this is just a parable for life, man. You can stay stuck in the past of bad decisions and did what didn't go right, or you can move forward and build the reality that you want. And I think that these guys have a great opportunity, to go out here and win a championship.
You hit something, man. You hit a lot of nuggets in there that I would get to, and we would be here for an entire hour. But you said a word in there, seriousness. And I want you to talk about what is the meaning of seriousness of these guys and give an example of that. Because when I hear that seriousness as a grown man, right, that's seriousness of being a husband,
Yeah.
seriousness of being a father, of being in business, of just being a dude, a human, right? But give an example of the seriousness that you're witnessing with these guys, and maybe an example.
Yeah, it's just the practice. Like, you know, if somebody's prepared based on how they want to practice or their intention or seriousness at practice, right?
Yeah.
And I just know from business, from sports, you can't do anything special without a level of seriousness, right?
Mhm.
I'm just speaking about myself. I can only accomplish stuff when you see this demeanor that I have, that I'm serious about making it happen. I see Ryan and his preparation and seriousness about the game plan. When I sit down and talk to him every Tuesday in his office, or we go to dinner every Tuesday, there's a seriousness to that. When the running back coaches or the players are on the team, when they're practicing, there's a level of seriousness, there's a pace, there's an intention when they're either breaking through tackles, getting to the second level, when Hartline is coaching the receivers and they're going through their drills. These guys are serious. Now, do they have the uh, off the field demeanor of the degenerate behavior that used to permeate college football years ago. No, but that doesn't exist with most kids, right? Like I was a degenerate, right? You know, so on some level, I was serious, but there's still like levels of degenerate where you have to mature. Those are not the kids anymore, and I don't care where you go in America. Like I've been around Ohio State, I'm around UConn basketball, I'm around premier programs throughout the country. Just that 90s and early part of 2000s behavior where you just have degenerate people. There are more responsible kids who have parents who've been growing up in colleges and they've passed the first generation and just better kids and all right. But to answer your question, Schlegs, like literally it's the preparation that I see from these kids. And just the little stuff like when I see Jack and JT get on the field every day, and they're two of the first people, and they're going through their drills, and there's an intensity to it. And I see these guys before games, I believe in it, and it's not fake, it's not false confidence, it's not trying to placate to the fan base to say this is who we are. When I see Caleb Downs, and I can go through all these people, the reason I hurt for Denzel Burke when he was out in Oregon, he had a bad day. I've seen this guy go before practice, and I've seen this guy before that spend time after practice working on technique and working on formation and working with the defensive back coaches. So for me, I'm just like, I see it all. You see the performance, you see the talent, and you just want the guys to capture the moment, right? And it's no different than if you're a father and you see your kids study hard or they practice hard. You just want to see it come together. Now, you have to go and perform, but when you see the preparation that goes into something, just in life, it pays off at some point, and you just want the guys to get it together and basically make it happen.
You talked about Carlos Lachlan, the running backs coach. I know you've
Yeah.
been over there with him. What makes him special? What is he like? And he's a new coach here, and obviously he's not an Ohio guy, but he's got a pretty crazy, awesome story with how he
Yeah.
got into coaching and everything. And what's your experience has been like with him and just him as a coach?
Well, I'll start first as a person, man. He was, aside from before I got with Coach Day, he was a guy, he literally texts me every single morning. And since he got the job, he texts me back and forth every day. And just from an honorable standpoint, to say, hey, man, you contributed to this university. You were somebody who sat in this room with somebody who I liked. And I just want to form a relationship with you. And it wasn't forced by anybody. So as a person, he has the utmost respect for me. And I just love him for that. But what makes him special is his intensity and his seriousness behind preparation. And I just don't believe, and there's a difference between like the rah rah, I want to go out here and bang my head and talk crazy to you vibe in football, and the seriousness of preparation. And I want to make sure I differentiate the two. And that's what Carlos Lockland has. Like literally, Coach Lock is its intensity, its practice, its pace, its get up the field, it's constant correction. It's the level of coaching you need for guys to perform the way that they need to perform. And what they're doing isn't enough. Like him constantly coaching, hey man, what you're doing isn't enough. What you're doing isn't enough. And I know when you just have that sort of environment, the results are going to come. Now you have to fix it some other pieces, and we have to get everybody going in the same direction. But I just love his practice. I love how he prepares the guys, and I just love him as an individual.
What are some things that this is just more game, just watching games. What are some areas that we got to clean up, right? Because you talked about in those moments, right? The Michigan game, you missed 2 field goals, the punts. Like, what are those could potentially be some of them? Like, what are some of the areas that you have to lock in on to be able to go, perform against Tennessee and make this run?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that question. Because one thing I don't want anything to forget, you understand the defense is playing like phenomenal right now,
Yeah.
right? So we can sit here and talk all this other nonsense that we want to, and we can all this other. Our defense is playing phenomenal, right? These dudes is getting after it. They happy, they excited, and for the most part, those guys did everything they do, right? But I had a deeper I went back to like relapse in my like 2002 brain, right? And you have to go to the offense, and you have to tell the guys like, hey. Particularly Will Howard, we brought you here, right? And we brought you here for these moments, and we need you to show up in these big moments. And we love you to death. We love all of the NIL stuff you do. We love how you represent the university. But at the Ohio State, if you're going to be a passer and if you're going to be a running back, you have to have notable moments that people remember you from. You have to. You have to show up, right? And that's the intent. And that, like the offensive unit, you have to show up, right? If there's anything that can say to these dudes before the game, we used to say big players make big plays in big games, right? And as a running back, if you go to Trevion, if you go to Q, what notable performances in big games have you all had, right? And you have to call people out because Coach Trusser would do that to me. He would sit me down and he'd say, Maurice, okay, you think that you're special. And he would say it in this way, but you think that you're special. What are you going to do when it matters most? When everybody comes around you and they're looking at you to perform. Nobody cares about this other stuff. What they care about is you in these big moments. And we don't need you to do something special. We just need you to do the things that you're coached to do. You hear where I'm coming from? We
Okay.
don't need anything special, but if we coach you to do something, just like the offensive line, okay, you all get flack, you get praise too. You get praise, you get your hats on the table, you get your NIL deals, you get to tell your family you're part of the Ohio State brand, you get all the coolness, we get that, right? But nobody cares about that at this moment. The reason they're criticizing you is because you haven't performed in big games. And sometimes I think you need to look players square in their face and say, yeah, we're depending on you today. This is who we're depending on. So all the rah-rah, all the pregame speeches, all of the cool stuff to say, sometimes it is cool to just call somebody to the carpet and say, if you're a guy, if you're a superstar, if you're a dude, you step on that field and you show everybody. And I think that's the essence of football. That's Ohio. That's Ohio State. That's what we've built up until this point. And I think it's only responsible that for the people who have inherited the gifts, the people who have inherited the weight room, the field turf, and all of the cool stuff that goes along with it, you have to call them and say, yo, bro, it's your turn. But you don't say it in the disrespectful way. You say it more like this is just your responsibility. As you sit here, this is your responsibility, and this is how people measure you. And so, like, it's those things. Like, if you want to talk about schematically, I'll say this, and I just don't think that this is mentioned enough, but I can mention it to you all because you all play football, right? Zone blocking is the toughest thing for people to do. And I don't think people understand that. This is like, I've run the football my whole life. If you don't have massive amounts of rep to build continuity, to build feel, to build timing, to understand hand placement, where people have to be, it is basically tough to run the ball in outside zone, inside zone, anything, right? What I've always said is that I wish that when we did run the ball, you ran more gap and power schemes because if you have linemen who aren't really good as a running back, you would go to them and just say, just hit somebody or get in the way. And that creates lanes and gaps. And you can then read and depend on your athletic ability rather than the unit as an offense. All right. You still hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh
We
yeah.
got you back.
Yes, yes. So I'm sorry. So these are the things schematically that I would do different, or that when I'm asked the question, I say, hey, I would get away from zone and I would get away from zone in the shotgun because if you all are linebackers and you see me pushing to the left, if you cause a disruption between the first two down linemen, you get it. Gaps are getting filled, people are athletic, you have safety support over top. That's tough, right? And then you're running towards the way. What I would do is I would basically go old school gap and power scheme, create lanes, understand that that works to our advantage for the running back, and you can have a less developed offensive line. I'm not calling these guys bad, but you're talking about your third iteration of an offensive line during the toughest part of the season. That's not a Ryan Day problem. That's not a Chip Kelly problem. That's not a coaching problem. That's just a personnel and you're dealing with and going to play with who you have, right? And so I would do that. And helping to build that gives you the option to run a little bit more. You create different looks. And then I would also, I would make sure that I'm targeting, our best players on the field, which is JJ and Emeka, and staying within the confines of what Will Howard does real well, throwing in between the hashes and getting JJ the ball quick and letting these guys make plays. I would make sure that I do that as my game plan. And so that's it. But I'm confident. I think that our defense is going to get after it and get after these guys and get the crowd into it. And it's a night game. And I just think the environment, the defense, and I think the pressure from these guys needing to perform on offense, I think is going to show well and bode well.
We got a couple more questions for you, Reese. We're going to take a quick 1-minute break. So I want to talk about your game preparation, getting prepared for these moments. We'll get more with Maurice here coming up in a minute. All right, welcome back in. We got Maurice here. A couple more questions. Slaves, you get one. I'm going to throw one here at him. We'll get him out. Thank you for all the time, and he's been absolutely tremendous. So you talked about that big game preparation. Reese, you always seem to play really well in big games. For you individually, what was that like? What was your routine like to maybe set that apart from maybe just a normal week?
It was the same routine, just massive amounts of silence and massive amounts of preparation. And I'm a silent guy. I'm not the guy before the game who can exert a bunch of energy because typically I was the nervous guy and nervous that I knew every call, I knew every play, nervous that like did I watch enough film, nervous that was my conditioning right, and just did I understand what I was looking at, be it if they had different iterations of blitzes or just different schemes that we put in. And so I was the guy who just stayed to myself. I thought about the game all the time. I've always been big on visualization, and I just came from a high school coach, and he used to say, just visualize yourself having success and play the game in your head prior to playing the game. So throughout the whole week, I'm just playing the game and how I wanted things to go, and I think that that is a secret of like confidence, but it also gives you a calmness. But I was one of those guys who conserved his energy. I'm not about to say anything because I want to let my play do the talking. And so
Mhm.
that's just been my way my whole life.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. I always call it controlled chaos, right? Before
Yes.
I'm chill, man. I don't need to exert this energy. Let's talk about Tennessee. So, yeah, Tennessee, really good defense. You got a young quarterback, explosive offense, really, really good running game. What do the Buckeyes got to do to come out with a win Saturday night in the shoe?
Be aggressive early and add pressure. So I don't think people realize, and I realized this during the Indiana game and just happened being around it. And I realized it. I was just at Madison Square Garden watching a UConn game. Your crowd is your friend. Your crowd is your 12th man. And one thing I know when Caleb Downs had returned that punt, I think that was against Indiana, you
Yeah.
just seen the crowd erupt, man. And it erupted to the point where I'm not even playing and I felt the energy. But I think if you go out here and you get to attacking, blitzing, hitting, getting your three and outs, and it's just my understanding that the defensive team, the unit, is the direct linkage to how the crowd typically feels. On offense, you usually have to have a big play here and there, but people rally and become energetic behind the defensive play. And I just think if you get the defense started fast and you're hitting people, or you get a turnover, or you just have some big impactful play, and you get those guys jumping around, I think that becomes infectious, and we will win through our defense. And I'm telling you, I'm a defense, even though I played offense. I'm just a defensive guy because it's harder for one player to make a difference on offense if he's schemed against, right? But the defense as a whole, like they just have an energy, man. And you just talk about at night, we're wearing all red. People are looking for like, look, I'm wearing all red on purpose. Look, just in theme of what's going on. Like, and you know they're going to have more. It'll be more theatric because they don't run as many ads. During these games, so I talked to Ross Bjork, and he said it's going to be a live environment, and so you hope that the crowd becomes infectious, and the Tennessee fans feel like that they are at the shoe. As many tickets as they bought, you feel that you're at the shoe and you're at a different environment, and we're rooting for our guys and not doing that silly stuff like booing these guys on three and outs. That does nothing for our team, right? And so I get excited about it. I think we'll win, but defense will be the driving force. And I think that offense will do what it does and it will find its identity. Just remember this, all this crazy talk. You don't go from beating Penn State and Indiana and talking about, oh, these guys are the greatest guys on earth, to you losing one week and now these guys just throw away everybody. Silly. You know where I'm coming from?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is still the same group of guys. This is still the same group of dudes. And I just think that they need to get back there on the field so they can flush that thing down their head and say, yeah, we are these dudes. And so you get some success early. And my man, I'm telling you like this. I was on the side with Coach Trussell. Do you know what 15 degrees feel like?
It's cold.
God.
It's
Hey,
cold.
listen to me.
It's
And if you're
cold.
not used to this and you're getting sacked, I was there when I seen the Indiana football players. I seen it in their face. They said, yo, bro, I'm ready to go home. This was quarter two. They said, yo, they had one good drive at the beginning, but after that, they said, yo, bro, I'm ready to go home. You start getting hit. and you start getting up off of that ground, and it is 15 degrees, 16 degrees, 17 degrees. People are yelling. I'm just saying like this from experience. Somebody rings your bell. You're not holding that ball for anybody, bro. Anybody. So that's my theory. I'm confident about the game. I seen these guys this week. They look ready, prepared, focused. And you have success early and you get the crowd into the game. And I'm saying this intentionally, hoping that the crowd hears this. You get into the game, my man, be a difference maker for these guys. And so I'm happy. I'll be there.
Absolutely. I'll be down there too, Reese. Can't wait to see you bringing the kids, man. They're going to be pumped for it. Thank you for spending some time with us on Friday. That was phenomenal. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, Coach, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Got y'all. See ya.
Reese,
Tell them that Sean. Oh, and I love the Armory. Those are my guys. All y'all. Yeah.
That's it. The great Maurice Clarett, man, one of the best. And gosh, like every time I get on, I love talking to him. I remember being in awe of him as a freshman when I got there, thinking I'll never be able to tackle this guy. A friend, and it's awesome to see what he's done. It's awesome to have him around the team. And I kind of get a little pissed off because I wish that we could have played with him more. I wish you would have got a chance to play with him, man, because it would have been a fun
100%.
time in practice. He was so damn good. Such a great guy. So good to see him. Good to talk to him. And we'll see him down there at the game. Talked about it. They're ready to go. He feels good. So do I. We got our headlines coming up next. I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like. I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer. All right, Schlegs, now we got our headlines, and there was a headline that I saw in here that's wild. We got Tailgate Talk coming up after this, which we have an unbelievable 5-pack of questions that was sent to us about a week and a half ago from one of the shows. So promise to get to it. I wanted to get to this, the holding calls for the Buckeyes. And I don't know if you sent this in or I did. Or
I sent it to
whatever.
you. I saw this.
Ohio State, this is remarkable. Their Big Ten opponents were called for 0 holding penalties this season. Buckeyes got 1 holding call against Michigan State, offsetting penalty, so it didn't count, and 1 holding call each against Marshall and West Virginia, and that was it. So they've really only had 2 holding penalties accepted on the entire season against their defense. I almost don't understand how that's possible. I mean, I guess it is, but it's crazy to see that, Schlegs.
This was mind-blowing. I mean, and there was times when we've seen like Jack Sawyer just get pulled down. It's like I don't understand, and I would like to see what that stat was for the entirety of the league. If this was just an Ohio State thing, if it was just those refs in those games, there probably needs to be more breakdown of that to actually like look, is this something that they were trying to say we don't want to call holding across the league? I mean, they're in college. They hold. You see the amount of holding penalties that transpire in the NFL when you got superior athletic ability on the outside versus really big, less athletic dudes. Like, that's the point of football, right? It's athletes in space on lesser athletes. Like, that's the point. For them to have those for the entirety of the season with the guys that they have, that does not make sense.
I meant to put this on during the break, Schlegs. There we go. Still fits.
Is that what you're wearing?
I don't know. I might let RJ wear it. I don't even know what type of goodies I got in here. Everything else, some sort of kid's diaper.
Where is that? Is that an old school like starter jacket?
Are you kidding me? Yes, it's old school starter jacket. There's no zipper on it anymore.
Yeah, perfect.
But yeah, coach. I mean, boom.
Oh yeah, I mean the best. That's
I
amazing.
mean, this is a large. This is how big stuff was what we wore back in the day, Schlegs. This is a large. I got this when I was, I think, a 6th or 7th grader. My mom gave it. She's like, "What am I going to do with this now?" It's like, "Let your kids wear it. Maybe you can wear it." It still fits me almost, for heaven's sake. I wore it till I was in 8th grade, and then
we wore it big. We wore it big back then because you probably put a sweatshirt, not a hoodie.
Oh yeah.
Back then we wore a crew neck sweatshirt, so you probably put that underneath that thing, so it's okay to go bigger.
Yeah, I got this. I got this in a Charlotte Hornets one. So super excited. Yeah, I want to put this on. Scarlet out. I went and got out of the closet. I haven't worn this bad boy in a while. So someone's going to wear it, either me or my son. I'm not sure which. So we'll have to figure it out. Might be fighting over that one. Cam Newton's like, people are opting out of these games. You know, they're talking about players opting out of bowl.
Oh, he's hopping back in. Hey, players are hopping out of bowl games. Boom. Oh, big play.
Are we good to go?
Oh, yeah, there he is. Hey, what's up, man?
I don't know what happened. Here we go.
Hey, guess what? Hey, people are opting out of bowl games, Bob.
Hey, people opting out of bowl games, lagging internet, going crazy, all kinds of weirdness. I don't know if we have the full audio on that one as well, Pat, from the one post that we had out there, if we can get that done. Who knows about the internet and everything that's happening. But you know, Cam Newton's like, hey, put in their contracts, man. Throw it in there. I mean, my man's starting to look like the Black Johnny Depp. He looks fantastic, like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's pretty wild. I guess that's
what it has to go to, Bob. It had honestly, it had like solutions for institutions. That's what you and I do. Whiteboard marker. Here's the deal. Guess what? One portal opens in the spring. That's when the contract starts. That's when the contract's over. Guys can hop in. They start school in June. Poof, David Copperfield. That's how it starts. There you go. Pretty simple to me.
Absolutely. And yeah, if you don't get it, Schlegs, there's clawback clauses in there. Like if you're going to not play, like, okay, well, all the NL money we paid you, we get half of it back or something like that.
Well, you tier it. You stair step it. You got some that you get immediate, right? That's your signing bonus.
Oh yeah, but you can put clawback provisions in if you're not willing to compete and play the rest of the season. Like, hey, we're coming back and being able to get it because we've been paying for all these months, and it's a full season's commitment. The one other thing that Maurice talked about, Schlegs, was being aggressive. Yeah. And in these bowl games, you get some of the greatest stuff ever that you're going to see, and you get people that really don't care about things, so they'll try some wild stuff. And like, how much do the games matter? I don't know, but I don't know, Pat, if we can get that fake punt pulled up. I don't even know who was with now anymore. I'm having a hard time loading stuff. But there was an unbelievable fake punch legs that I wanted to show. I don't know if we can. Oh, here we go. Check this bad boy out. Have you seen this? Who is this? Yes,
yeah, UNLV.
Cal. Yeah, this is Cal against UNLV. Yep. I mean, that's the stuff that we need. We need something like that, Schlegs. We need a little nugget to be able to just throw that hardcore fastball and see what ultimately happens.
Look at this. Look what transpired right here.
Oh, it's great.
Look what transpired. Boom.
Sitting there, ready, let them through. Oh, snake in the grass.
No, that was the gunner. That was the gunner. That was the gunner. They bailed out like, oh, he's going down to block the edge. Not so fast, my friend.
Yeah.
Tebow jump pass.
Perfect. Right there. Punter over the top. All right, that's it for that. We got our tailgate talk, a 5-pack of questions from an unbelievable, one of our unbelievable viewers. We appreciate that. Coming up here next on the Bobby Carpenter Show.
Get the most out of work, life, and all your outdoor adventures with top-selling upgrades for your truck. Guaranteed fit, free shipping, easy install, expert support, and thousands of dealers just a click away. Bring your truck to life. Real Truck. Upgrade today and save between $50 and $400 on select Real Truck products. Visit realtruck.com/specials.
All right, here we go. Now we got our tailgate talk brought to you by our friends at Real Truck, realtruck.com. All your Christmas truck accessory needs, or if you have a Jeep or a Bronco, unbelievable stuff. I've got a couple of bumpers there, brush guard, winch for my Jeep. I got a cover for the back of my truck. I got a new top for my Jeep. They've got everything. Schlegs has brought his truck to life. I brought mine to life. You can bring yours to life as well. And here's the best part for all of the loyal listeners and viewers here of the Bobby Carpenter Show. You spend $100, use promo code Bobby at checkout. They get you a free Real Truck hat. So that's phenomenal. Schlegs and I got them. Boom, right there in your face, looking good, feeling good as well. All right, Pat, I think you said we got a graphic about this. The questions that were thrown up here, it was great. And it was from @TE_2013. Do you think the DBs will show up against Tennessee IGB over under 1.5 penalties? I think they're going to end up being good. They've been better for the most part on the penalty situation, Schlegs. I feel like I think Denzel's played much better since the Oregon game, and IGB's had some streaks there where he struggled a little bit, but I think they're going to be okay. What say you?
I do. I also look at it depends on what you're doing in the running game, stopping the run, right? And how you're going to affect the quarterback. Because, again, what are those deep ball? Like, this is an explosive offense. Earlier in the season, they were just rattling off big plays after big plays. I think there was one game where they had 5 explosive touchdown passes. But that also goes into how am I affecting the quarterback? If he's just able to stand there in the pocket and wait for 3 seconds to throw it downfield, that's going to put a lot more pressure, especially if you're running man. I think they will show up. I think they have some things to do, but also it goes into how do you get them off the line, right? Yeah. Are you just going to let them run free, or are you going to be able to go up there?
IGB is a press machine. Yeah, you can get after him, dude. You can get after him. They don't want to run the ball. And the thing is, there's a little wind, so being able to play that on some of those balls, understand if you're going into the wind, it might be a little underthrown for a back shoulder. All right, Schlegs, you got 1 minute to answer this because I know you'll want to talk for 4 hours on it.
No,
but what is contributing to all the O-line injuries?
Yeah, so the first two, Jimmy and Zen, that was contact. That was structural. Somebody getting rolled up on. Yeah, like you can't do anything about that as much as we try to and strengthen the quad and hamstrings and the knees, but like that's just difficult, right? And even loading the tendons in the length of position through time under tension, still difficult when you got like I tore my MCL my junior year, and it's because I had a dude that got launched into my leg. Like there's nothing I could do, but guess what?
I don't think that was my legs. I think you just fell down as a non-athlete.
No, because my legs were so strong, it wasn't significantly worse. Seth one is the anomaly. An Achilles is the anomaly, considering, all the different things that you do, right? Strengthening the calf, plantar fascia, like ball rolling out, like in the middle of the foot, like all these different things that you can do for that, like just working on that tendon, him coming off and pushing off into the turf. That's the crazy.
Well, and it was on field turf. Usually they practice on grass. So that's.
I know. You saw that with Aaron Rodgers. Like, did it just stick? Was there no movement? Was there pressure on him? Was it like that's the thing, right? Like non-contact. Was it just like I'm in air and then I go and turn and it happens? So I don't know the case. Was he holding on to a guy and planted and then something happened, or was he driving a machine? I don't know. But that one of the three, So again, it's with contact. So something happened. Something got stuck in the ground. Too much pressure is being applied, power being applied into it, and it happened. That's just unfortunate. That's something that I don't know what else we could have done in there to strengthen that. It's just unfortunate. It might be a field turf thing, Bob.
Yeah. Schlegs, what do you think about Ohio State's schedule for 2025? They've got the Texas Longhorns there to open up the season. That's pretty
Grambling.
juicy.
Yeah, super juicy. And this goes back to what Saban said is like, well, then we're just going to play our schedule. But I like them, right? Now we've seen in the college football playoff era, you can still be seated. You can still be seated high. People are going to lose games, man. It's going to be a battle of attrition. Texas being the number one thing in the shoe, it's going to be super awesome, super juicy. But then you got Grambling, Ohio. And the real question is, what is the Washingtons, the Minnesotas, like Illinois?
You got Penn State at home. That's the last time, too.
Yeah, Penn State at home. And then Purdue, UCL, Rutgers, and Michigan in Ann Arbor. Really, the only game that you're looking at, the only two games? Well, there's three. There's Texas, there's Penn State, and there's Michigan. All the other ones are like givens. Like, what are you doing? Like, you got to show up and ball out. But those are the only three that you really got. And the strength of schedule is all predicated upon how good are those middle teams. Are they toward the top of the middle, or are they toward the bottom of the middle, or are they just straight in the middle? That goes into your strength of schedule that everybody's looking at. But those are going to be your opportunities, and you got to seize them. You got to be ready to go versus Texas. That means a great camp going into that game.
We played with the gray sleeves, gray stripes on the sleeve legs. Everyone loved it. Do you think they should be returned permanently?
I remember when I had this question out, I literally just put F, yeah. Like, what are we talking about? It's scarlet and gray. And the gray sleeves on the red jerseys should always be there. It's why I still love our white road jerseys, because they have them in there. It's just the Buckeye thing. It's the way they should be. Put them back in for everybody's sake.
And then not a lot of people talk about special teams heading into the playoff game. How do these teams compare? And Tennessee's got some special teams issues too. Like, their kicker is not great. I mean, this is not – if you're a special teams like coach, you're going to look at this game and think, okay, like, whoever plays better, meaning maybe who just doesn't make as many mistakes, because Tennessee's had some kicking woes as well.
Yeah, and that's the one area that I thought would be better. Like, punting has not been good. Missing field goals, again, in the Michigan game, not good. They've had the same issues. That doesn't mean it's right, but it also means, like, are you going to play out of fear? You're going to play out of, I want to go win the game, right? And, like, I can go pick up these yards. Trust your guys, trust your players, what Maurice was talking about, to not necessarily just take the points. Let's just continue this drive, right? Let's go score points, and if we have to, it's closer. But still, guys are going to have to step up, man. If you're a kicker, step up and make a play. It could be the deciding factor, and that's why the spread at 7.5 is just absolutely crazy.
Absolutely. And then, Schlegs, we'll put a little pin in that. That was Tailgate Talk, brought to you by our friends at Real Truck. All right, coming up next, we close up the show. It's Friday. That means Dude of the Week.
Get the most out of work, life, and all your outdoor adventures with top-selling upgrades for your truck. Guaranteed fit, free shipping, easy install, expert support, and thousands of dealers just a click away. Bring your truck to life. Real Truck. Upgrade today and save between $50 and $400 on select Real Truck products. Visit realtruck.com/specials.
All right, Schlegs. Here we go. We've got, before we get to our Dude of the Week, we're going to get to our guy, Tim Walton, his Thoughtful Thursday. Here's super quick. Let's get it. A little volume on that, Pat, and we'll get it rolling. Well, apparently no volume right now for our guy, Mr. Tim Walton. Can we get volume on that, Pat, or is that going to be not possible? One of my favorites. Always, Schlegs. It was a really good one. Tim brought here, let's do dudes of the week first. My dude of the week. Go ahead. Yours, Schlegs. Go ahead with your dude of the week.
No, my dude's real fun. Anthony Walker Jr., Dolphins linebacker. He gifted all of his teammates their high school jerseys. I mean, honestly, of a thoughtful gift, Bob, to have a Lancaster jersey of yours, right, like replicated. Like, that's where it all started for us. That was Friday Night Lights. Like, there's a lot of memories there. Super awesome.
Yeah, that would be tremendous.
Look at the juice. Look at the juice on these guys, man. Look how happy they are, man. Like, that is a thoughtful gift.
Do like all the work to find that, to get those replicated for them. I mean, that's pretty sick. So I'm sure those guys all love it. Schlegs, mine is going to be a guy that we love, a guy that, I mean, you kind of look like sometimes and emulate. My guy, Chris Farley. It's wild, Schleg, to think that he passed away on December 18th, 1997. It's been that long. It's been 27 years since he died. Passed away on Wednesday. I was playing we had basketball coming back from Zanesville, eating at McDonald's. I remember when it happened. He's almost been dead for as long as he was alive. Died at 33. So R.I.P. And I love that my sons have found him now. The kids love him, and they love Tommy Boy and all his great work on SNL. So still missed, dude. And gosh, he'd be 60 this year, Schlegs. R.I.P. to Chris. All right, we got a Thoughtful Thursday on the way out of here, Pat. There we go.
Thoughtful Thursday. Mind elevation. Mind elevation. When life hits us, we must stay strong. Either we ride together or we die alone. Out here in the world, sometimes it's hard living. You can't pay for the peace we have because that's God's given. So honor the Most High. Keep his commandments. Don't trust a lot of people because your life you'll be playing with. I'll be gazing at the moon, going through different phases. I'll be thinking about our journey because the story about to be amazing. Story about to be amazing. Hey, man. Hey, we're about to go on this run. We're about to go on this journey, man. It's going to be great. Make sure we take care of our business and know to do the necessary things to make that happen. Ready? Already.
Ready already? All right, guys, you got score predictions. I got the Buckeyes 21-13. What say you?
Oh, man. I bet shit. I like that, Bob. I like that. 21. I'm gonna say 24-13.
All right. I like it. Well, that's it for today's show. We'll be back Monday live, 12:30. Hopefully talking about a Buckeye win. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you soon.